Someone just sent me a note about their plants or their transplants not doing very well. So I wanted to get into feeding them because you can feed them when they're small. There's a lot of information out there. Don't feed your seedlings, don't fertilize. Go ahead and do it. So what you want to do is take the adult plant amount and cut it down. So let's take two examples. So last week I transplanted, right? This one I have not fed. This one I have fed twice. See the difference? So this little baby plant, if your dose of feed was a teaspoon per gallon, I would do a quarter of a teaspoon per gallon to feed plants this small. I do half a teaspoon per gallon on this one, okay? I use organic feed. I use organic fertilizer. So I have read and been told that they will not damage your plants like other fertilizers. So if you can get organic, do that. It's safer for your plant and you can be a little more aggressive with it, I think. There are a lot of different brands. I every year carry different ones as far as my liquids go. I research and then buy 3 different types. I also buy root system stuff, which we'll go over later. So use whatever one you want. Try to get an organic. You can get just basic fish if you want. There's bat guana, bat poo, which is a really good one. It's real popular and more affordable, so you can get that one. And I always tell people, chemical fertilizers make up your plant. So, if, I don't know, I'm just, fertilizing is the same as like feeding chicken feed. So if you're feeding your chickens corn and soy in their feed, then when you eat their egg, you eat that. And if it's GMO or a non-organic product, you're getting that in your egg. So I do the same thing with my plants. I mean, if I'm not willing to have it in my food, I'm not willing to put it into my plant. So that's the rule I follow. Again, there's no right or wrong. That's just what I do. So I pick the things that are clean and organic, things that I feel are safe for me to ingest and that aren't too aggressive for my plants. So here's another plant that I fed. And this was a transplant last week. It was like 1 inch tall. See? I've fed this one twice already. So this one, as big as it is, half a teaspoon. As it gets a little bigger, probably another week or so, I'll do a full teaspoon in a gallon of water to feed this. And I'll, 2 to 3 times a week is what I usually do on these. So I wanted to talk about that. And then another thing is markers. I want to talk about that. So people use magic markers when they're marking like their wood and their little plastic markers. If you're watering your plants or if they're being watered like your systems that you've set up, this will fade away quickly, real quickly, especially if there's sun. So I highly recommend you get these little garden markers. You can get them on Amazon. I think they're like $2 or $3. These will last so much longer. They'll last almost permanently on plastic and on wood like for 1.5 to 2 years. And I get these wooden markers. Get these on Amazon too. See how tall they are? I think they're like 22 or 24 inches, something like that. I get these because a lot of my pepper plants bush out and get so huge I can't read what they are if the tag's really low or buried or whatever. So I use these. Now I reuse these because they will fade. See that? That was a magic marker. See, that was only for 1 season and it faded. So they fade. If you use the other marker, they won't fade as much. See, you can use the other side. You can turn it upside down. They're not cheap, but you can reuse them again and again, and you can also step on them, get them in half, and reuse those. So let me show you a pack. I think a 30 in a pack, right? Wood stakes, 30 in a pack. Okay. So this little marker will save you. Last year, I actually bought some little copper markers that were supposed to permanently be marked. Like if I wrote on them with any type of pen, that they would last forever. Well, they didn't. And that was my herb garden that I did last year. And I know what the dried herbs look like. In my practice, I use them all the time. I know what they look like dead and dried, but I don't know the plant leaf when it's alive. I can't look at a plant and know right away unless I've worked with it for a year. Well, I planted probably, 45 new herbal plants last year and marked them in trusting that they would still be marked this year. But they're not. I went out and cut all the weeds back and there they were, all faded out. So I did not use this pen though, but it said that magic markers would work, but it didn't. So what I'm saying is try to use these pens. You'll be real glad you did. Magic markers never stay. No matter if permanent, blah, 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 they don't stay. So don't buy into that. So try to get these pens, garden marker, Amazon also. I think that was it. I think those were the only two things I wanted to talk about. So start fertilizing your plants and your seedlings. Get a head start on them. Try to choose organic if you can. It's safer for your plant. It won't burn. I think that's it. If you have any questions about feed, just send me a note and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, okay?